Hotapu, this is King Ra Sumibathagbeimi, the world's first openly gay African king, and I wish to give you an insight into a bit of the Kemetic calendar. I've been studying this dynamic of the calendar for the last year, researching it, and making sure that my math is correct, that my results are correct, and that they hold water. And this is the first time in thousands of years that this calendar's detail in this manner is being revealed back to the world. And what I wish to discuss is how we see the calendar in Kemet in a live case study. So, for example, I chose to use Obama's first inauguration, which occurred on January 20th in 2009, when he was sworn in. Not the date of the election, but the date of the swearing in. And there were controversies about his swearing in dates, but I picked this first original one because in fractals, the first of a thing, the beginning, is the butterfly effect and sets the whole tone. So what I did was, using the calculations based upon my study of the Giza Plateau, I calculated the day of the new year, which is when we have the Halakha rising of Sirius, the day the new year starts for the whole planet. There's a day in which the new year begins for all of planet Earth, universally. And then there are local days where the star of Sirius will rise over your local town. And that will change depending upon where you are on the globe. But as this was an event of world consequence, I did the calculations, and it's a very secret and occult calculation of the world start of the Egyptian calendar, the Kemetic calendar. And so with that as my foundation, it puts Obama's first inauguration in the seventh Kemetic month, called Rekech Nijis. Rekech Nijis. It is the seventh Kemetic month of Sopedu, of Sirius, in the third month of Peret, in the third week or third decan of this month of Rekech Nijis, on the 23rd day of this month of Rekech Nijis. Okay, so we have a few details. We are in the seventh month of the Kemetic world calendar for that year. That month is called in Egyptian Rekech Nijis, which means the little fire, the small flame. Rekech Nijis. Rekech means fire or flame, or heat, really, heat. And Nijis means small, little, diminutive, an underling. It means child. It's a word for Osar, and a word for commoner. Okay? And in this month of the heat of the commoner, the heat of the little man of Osar, or of Osar's child, in that third week called Saseret, the third decan, whose gods are Dwamutef and Kebsenuf, on the 23rd day of the month of the heat of the small commoner, Rekech Nijis, Obama was crowned king. Or we say that he was crowned king. Now, on the screen here you see from The Gods of the Egyptians, Volume 2 by Wallace Budge, here on page 322, these are the days of the month. So the page before this shows days 1 through 9, and every Egyptian month had 30 days, always. Never 29 or 28 or 27 or 31 or 30. It was always uniformly, every month, 30 days. Each week was 10 days long. So you had 3 weeks, 30 days total. Each week was 10 days long, called a deacon. So Obama was inaugurated on the 23rd day out of 30 of the month of Rekechnijis, the heat of the small commoner of Osar, of the underling. Now you see already, this event of his inauguration is being clocked by this calendar of exactly what was going on. As the first black president, he'd be a commoner in relation to the power base of the USA. He would be the underling, the oppressed one, the one called a child or a boy. Many black men were called boy for many years by the recessivists slash racists. And Osar is called Nijis, the little one, implying that this was the hand of the ancestors, for Osar is the ancestral deity. So, when you look at the Kemetic astrology calendar, as I teach it among the gay shamans, there are other Kemetic calendar systems out there, other groups that work with this calendar. I have studied their calendars and found their math to be faulty. Their calculations are wrong. Their astronomy is not correct. This is distinctly the golden beetle, gatekeepers, gay shamans system. So if you're using the system, you're using a gay system. So on this 23rd here, this is in the month of the commoner, the little man, the underling. And the 23rd is here, says Heb Tenat or Tenit, on the day of Naur. Okay, Heb Tenit. Heb means festival or celebration. Tenit means portion, part, measure, what is due you, or a damming up of a river, a dam. So this is telling us that on the day of his inauguration was the day in which we have to celebrate our portion. This is implying that the ancestors decided that we're going to begin giving the 40 acres and a mule kind of concept, the portion that the oppressed deserved. This damming up, this building up of pressure and oppression erupted in his election. And this was given because the ancestors deemed our portion was due. Black people's portion was now due them. Okay? And the word Naur means the great worm, the great serpent, the great snake. And this is the god of the day. This is the name of the day. All the names begin with the word Heb. And the god of each day is in the next column, called day of. God so-and-so. Naur is the great serpent. And this can have two meanings. That it was time for us to face the great dragon, the great beast, and that the whole concept of racism had to now be challenged and faced, and they had to be made aware that things are changing. This also was warning Obama that he's going to face a lot of worms, a lot of undermining forces, a lot of worms underground, and nasty activity and subversive behavior from his cabinet, from politicians, and from the Republicans, etc. Not his cabinet so much, but more the Republicans. And so, you see here, by looking at the dates in which things happen, an oracle appears. And I'm telling you, the Kemetic calendar is an oracle. It's far greater than Ifa. It's far greater than Yijing. When you really learn this calendar, it reads more precisely than those other oracles. Okay? And at some point I'll discuss that, how the other oracles are really supposed to be secondary references, not primary. First must be Ra, the astrology system. You must have the right calendar of Ra. And then Ra had a deputy called Tehuti, second in command. He was no king. Tehuti was no king. He was simply the advisor to Ra. But because we've moved into a dark age of the Kali Yuga age, and no one discusses how the Kali Yuga, the dark age, the Iron Age, affected African spirituality. But one way in which it was affected was that we put the oracle. That's why you have an Ifa right now, and you have a lot of African spiritual revivalist movements, a heavy emphasis on oracles, or Rumila, Ifa, the Medinater. These oracles are taking prominence, but nowhere in the texts, the scriptures of Kemet, was Tehuti a king. A counselor does not rule, he advises the ruler. Ra was king, and Tehuti became his vizier, basically. When you read the great story of the destruction of humankind by Ra, when Ra sent his eye of Sekhmet to destroy the rebellious humans, at the end of that story, which can be found in the Budge book of the gods of Egypt, the whole story is written in the text as well. After Ra left humankind, after the great rebellion and betrayal of humans upon Ra, he installed Tehuti as his surrogate on earth. So Tehuti is a second comer. He's the backup. Okay? So Kemet is really an astrocracy, a starocracy. Giza, every temple was aligned to stars. The whole plateau of the Great Pyramid, all that is the Sphinx, they're all aligned to stars. They were very, very invested into star study to create perfect charts. So you can't discuss Kemet if you don't discuss stars. Okay? And you lean more on oracles. Now, oracles are very powerful, they're very useful, they're very important. But you lean more on oracles when you have a weak astrology system. So the dark ages of African spirituality is the loss of astrology, which I have come back to revive and to correct. My job was to fix heaven. The sky was broken, and I have fixed it. Now, what's interesting about this month is the secret deity of this month is Taurt, the hippo woman, Big Mama. Now, she is shown in the Egyptian calendar of Dendera as the queen of the northern skies, holding a chain that binds the thigh of Set, the god of evil. Taurt is the great mother, and she is in the north sky binding evil Set, the bad DNA. That would be the racist culture. And she protected Obama. I predicted back in 2008, 2007 that he would win. It's on my, it is about, I believe it's on my Facebook page, the Golden Beetle Facebook page, the Russell Mabah Facebook page. I think it's the Golden Beetle page, yes. Where I predicted we're going to have 2 consecutive wins of Obama, and the third will be a Democratic win as well, Hillary, and the Queen will win. Because I have gotten the math right, I'm able to predict these things. So this is telling us that the African feminine principle will be key to Obama's winning in 2008. We all know that it was said quite firmly that Oprah's endorsement of Obama was significant to his win. It was a significant boost to his popularity and to his win. And it so happens, when I calculated Oprah's birthday from this same system, Oprah was born on the 16th of the same month of Taurt. Taurt is a queen of material power. Ta means land or matter or material world, and Urt means great. So Oprah is born in the Egyptian month of Taurt, Big Mama, she who commands the greatest resources. Taurt's breast, her nipple, marks the basic, the ecliptical center, the center of our sun. Okay, the ecliptical meridian, really. And that center of the sun is energy to manifest, because she's a hippo who's pregnant. So she wants to birth something. So Taur means the big mama who births unlimited energy into unlimited forms. She does a lot with culture and the forms of your culture, your art, your jewelry, your architecture, your clothes, your foods, the physical side of life, which Oprah has mastered. Obama has mastered being the physical ruler. So anyone born this month is going to have a lot of power to command physical forces or to be overwhelmed by them. It can go to either extreme. So it's interesting that Big Mama Oprah blessed him in the same month of Big Mama Taurt. You see? Now, finally, 23rd, there's an Egyptian numerology based upon the Leiden papyrus that I have decoded. And I won't go into that part right now, but basically I'll say that the Leiden papyrus, if you take 23, you add them, the numbers 2 plus 3 is 5. So this has a feature of 5. Okay, if you reduce the two numbers of 23, you get 5. The word for 5 is dua. Dua means to hail, to praise. And in the 5th stanzas of this Leiden papyrus, the 50th and 500th stanzas, you see a whole litany of praising of creation, that something new is being born, and dua'u, thank you to the Creator for creating this new creation. Those are the themes of these 5 base verses. So 23 has a base of 5, which means creation. Obama was the creation of a new idea for the little man, the commoner, the oppressed. Taurt is the big mama who protects the children. Oprah protected him. She came in with that myth of Taurt, blessed him, and gave birth to a real boost to his popularity and his influence. Okay? And so, that's basically it. This is a brief introduction into how the calendar of Kemet, as seen by the gay priests of my kingdom, is an oracle. It's a more exacting oracle than Ifa, than Yijing, which can be a bit sometimes vague, a bit metaphoric, hard to pen. But this is very exact. Creation of the underling, bringing heat to the world, light to the world, blessed by the Great Mother, yes, and here to bring the creation of a new day. I pray you enjoyed this video. I will do more on the true teachings of the calendars of Africa, of Kemet, Dwawend Hotepu.